All right. Hello? Can anyone hear us? Can you hear us?
Yeah.
I need
They're saying they
confirmation
can
of
hear
sound.
us.
I see a yeah, and I got a back and another yeah. Okay.
You motherfuckers sat there in silence for 8 minutes before you said anything to anybody.
It's all right. It's just like ROH. Heyo. All right. Anyways.
I don't even know where they dropped out at. Okay.
So, long story short, ROH had an awful weekend. Their iPPV didn't work. They didn't really do damage control for over an hour while people were yelling at them about it.
And of course, this comes after their last pay-per-view done by Go Fight Live was terrible, and all their pay-per-views with Go Fight Live were terrible. So they said, okay, we're going to run this through our own site, and hopefully it'll work now.
Still problems?
Nothing?
Seriously?
It sounds like it's only one person. Maybe if I ban you, you might hear better. Let me think.
Okay. They're saying sound, so yay. It's
Can
one
they
person,
hear all
I
of
think.
us or just you?
I would
That's
say
also a very key problem.
shut your browser, restart your computer, join us in a little later. So,
Okay, good.
If you can't hear it, just hit Alt F4, and I guarantee it'll work.
yeah, you'll be fine. So,
You guys
ROH.
are heavy on that Alt F4, aren't you?
Love it. So,
Ring of Honor with all their issues.
Yeah, ever since they were bought out by Sinclair Broadcasting Group, it has been nothing but problems. So,
On the production end.
what do? They've tried, they just got new software or whatever for this one and it failed. What do they got to do to fix this? Especially now that they've lost a shitload of credibility with their fan base.
Well, they need to actually take, I'll just finish real quick. They actually need to take responsibility for it instead of pushing it off on everybody else. As it was mentioned, they were blaming Go Fight Live, and then now they're just blaming their servers, and they said that once they upgrade, that should be taken care of. But on a whole, as a company, even when the pay-per-view did come up, there were still a few sound issues. Their lighting is still terrible. Their camera angles are still bad. Like, their production as a company is terrible, so it's not surprising to me that they can't even produce and upload a stream. They need to work on all of that, and they have to actually take it up and actually say, we have a problem and we need to fix it.
Okay, well, here's my thing. This isn't even just a Ring of Honor thing. This is any website of any genre, anywhere on the internet thing. You should kind of know more or less what your fan base is and how big it is. Whether you get, 500 page hits a day or you get 5 million page hits a day, you should kind of know. There should never be a problem when it comes to something like this. There should never be an issue where your server can't handle the amount of traffic that's coming in. Unless, they went astronomically above what they normally get. You normally get 1 million views a day, and all of a sudden now you're getting 600 million views a day. There shouldn't be these kind of problems. And, as, the Unrighteous just mentioned in the chat, I know we're not supposed to be talking to the chat, but Diablo 3 just had problems like that with their release.
Huge problems.
Servers could not handle the amount of traffic that were coming in. These are things that you should know already. You should have that taken care of before, these events happen. The people of Blizzard should have known what was going to happen with Diablo 3. They should know it wasn't going to be, there'll be like 30 or 40 people to buy the game. Don't worry about it. Not a big deal. Ring of Honor should have known we're going to have X amount of people that are probably going to be visiting the site for the show. So can our servers handle X amount of people? Yep, good. They're equipped. All right, we're good to go. They couldn't figure that out? Like, how does this happen, though?
I don't know. It's just, and what my issue is that you have a whole bunch of smaller companies running iPay-per-views. Companies like Chikara, like
issues.
CZW, like Dragon Gate USA, like Evolve, like, what is it, Woman Superstars Uncensored.
Yes.
WSU, a small female-only company, running iPay-per-views perfectly. Absolutely fine.
Exactly.
And yet Ring of Honor, which is supposedly the third biggest, wrestling promotion in the United States, can run iPay-per-views and never have been able to run iPay-per-views. That's Bush League. That's third rate. That's fourth rate. It's perplexing that they go into this apparently not ready for it and are still just like, whatever. We're going to get it right eventually. We're not going to get it right now, but one of these days it's going to be okay and everyone's going to be happy with our product, instead of like actually coming down and focusing on it and getting it right before they do their next iPay-per-view. And it's dumb.
I'm glad Jeff brought that up because, as he mentioned, Evolve actually had a pay-per-view that same night, and it made ROH look so bad because they actually allowed Gabe to pretty much bash them and speak bad about them the whole night as his pay-per-view was going off without a hitch. And he actually had a better wrestled pay-per-view than ROH did, but that's a different conversation. They lost a lot of credibility. They lost some of the prestige to their image again, because this was the one that they promised, saying, don't worry, this one will work. Trust us, it will work, and it didn't. And it didn't work for close to an hour.
Since you brought up Gabe, let me point out, before we got hit with our technical difficulties, when Gabe was in charge of Ring of Honor, him and his wife were in charge of customer service. They did everything. You ordered merchandise, DVDs, tickets. You got that from Gabe and his wife.
Exactly.
Any problems that you had were addressed by Gabe and his wife. And they were all addressed without hesitation. If you ever had a problem, they fixed it. Their customer service was top-notch when Gabe was in charge. What happened after Gabe was fired, I have no idea. People seem to be getting chipped out left and right. Ordering iPay-per-views to watch live, and they gotta watch it on replay 3 weeks later, and we're still gonna blame everybody else. This is nonsense. A bunch of people who are supposed to be running a company that have experience running bigger companies, Gabe is making these people look like assholes.
Stupid.
Gabe went to his Facebook and he attacked, not by name, but he attacked Ring of Honor for all their problems and everything that was wrong with the iPay-per-view, and I don't blame him, because he built up a reputation of having such a strong customer service for that company, and they just shit on it, and was just like, fuck it, we don't give a fuck, it's not our fault.
And once again, this isn't like, it's not an isolated incident here. We're not talking about one pay-per-view that fucked up. We've talked about every iPay-per-view they've done have gone through some problems. If it's not being shown on the stream, there's no sound. Sound is all wonky, the lighting was wonky, theme music isn't playing. ROH has so many production issues that it's astounding. And how do they go about fixing that is just focusing on those issues instead of worrying about, bringing people like Finley in or doing anything of that nature. I'd rather see them get their production issues fixed up first, so that when they put on a show, people can actually watch it and enjoy it, and then go after talent once they go, okay, now everything is lined up on the production side. Now we're going to go make sure our show is actually watchable in terms of what's actually going on.
I know... Oh, you gonna say something?
Yeah, I'm gonna say something real quick. One last thing from me. There was a ton of backlash all over social media, Facebook, Twitter. I saw quite a bit going towards Jim Cornette, and I know it wasn't his fault. He had nothing to do with these technical issues. He was a glorified advisor. He's not running the pay-per-view stream himself. I don't understand why he got a lot of the blame for this.
Just because he's a figurehead for the company.
I suppose.
But he wasn't even there, by the way, for anybody.
And he's always the first person to run his mouth with his opinion, so everybody just wants to blame him.
The thing with ROH is that I know, and some people may say it, 'cause I see sometimes on boards and stuff, ROH is an indie company. We do know ROH is an indie company, and we understand that they have indie problems, but they're supposed to be the top indie company in America. So you're basically a mini major promotion. We expect you to look better than most indie companies. We expect you to run better than most indie companies. And not only because you're the top one, but because in the past, as Cole has said, Gabe has put them in positions to display themselves as being the third best option in America. And they're just completely failing at it now. And it's the IWC thing to say, oh, since Gabe left, oh, shit's been like going down the toilet and people just say it. But it's really been a fact. Both in-ring wise, production-wise, riding-wise, everything pretty much has been going downhill since Gabe has left. Even though people may slander him for certain things, but Gabe positioned them for greatness, and ever since then, I don't know what to say. I really don't feel bad for them whatsoever. He can make fun of them every single day. I don't care. Because Sinclair and them, they act like they don't know what they're doing.
Well, okay, the whole Gabe thing, that's what makes it even funnier, is that it's not like he left on his own.
Mm-hmm.
He was fired. So it would be different, if it was, well, Gabe left the company, he wanted to do things on his own, he wanted to go do this and this and this and this, so he left them high and dry. No, they sent his ass packing, and now you could almost say they're reaping what they've sown.
It's biting them in the ass for sure.
I mean, as Phantom just mentioned in the chat, there are some people that weren't a fan of Gabe at all, and then that's fine. But he even admits that he's in the minority of that opinion, and that's, I would say, if you talk to people that have been Ring of Honor fans through the years, he would be a very small minority of that.
Mm-hmm.
For every one person that has that opinion, you're going to have several people that are like, yeah, this company's fucked since Gabe was fired. And, to go back to something that Cole said earlier about, like, customer service, if you have ordered anything from Ring of Honor through the years, especially, years ago, there was always, like, so much care taken. Like, anytime you had a problem, like, I know Cole has had a couple issues with, like, tickets that he's ordered.
Yeah, I lost tickets to a Ring of Honor show.
And they just always fix the problem, like, right away. I've had issues with DVDs that I've ordered, and they've gone out of their way to fix the problem and throw in free stuff. And, I didn't have to ask for it. I didn't have to threaten them for it. They would go out of their way to make sure that, your experience with the company, no matter how big or how small, went perfectly. And they don't do that anymore.
All right.
And can I just throw in one last thing on ROH?
Yep.
It's kind of like a transition from the production into the in-ring. For the pay-per-view that we actually did see, the ending where Steen actually beat, and I don't even want to say his name anymore because David did this. I said it, damn it. But he beat that guy that we can't stand. It was such an anticlimactic moment, and I don't know if I want to put it too much on even Steen and Davey. I think it's also the fact that they structured the card wrong, and they had the Briscoes lose the belt in the match before, and it just like took all the energy out of the building. But I don't know. That's something Gabe used to do. He used to structure the cards a little bit better. But as I said, he's not there anymore because they fired him.
Okay.
But they could take that.
I said this on Twitter when it happened, but I'll say it again. I think ROH called an audible at the main event.
I was just going to ask that.
I don't think Steen was originally scheduled to win the match, but because of the problems that they had and the technical issues, and because there were so many people just raging mad,
they sacrificed Davey.
They couldn't do that. Like, they couldn't give people the problems that they did and then have Davey retain the title. They knew that they were already losing a lot of people, maybe for good. Some people, you gotta assume were just ranting. The people like, I'll never watch this shit again, and they watch it again the next week. But there were a lot of people that were legitimate, because this was money that they were spending. It wasn't like, Raw, when you watch Raw and you don't like Raw, and you say, oh, I'm not going to watch this crap anymore. It's just a TV show. It's fine. But when you're spending money to watch the shows, that's when you can say, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not putting my money into this company if this is the way they treat me and this is the way they treat their fans. But I really don't think that this was the planned outcome, and I think they had to pull an audible. I think Davey was going to lose it to Steen eventually. I know the fucking storyline. I know that it was his one chance, but as everybody mentioned to me yesterday, this is wrestling logic that we're talking about.
Because Steen was fired and he was never allowed back in ROH at one time.
Yeah, you can't give me that one match.
I don't think they changed the ending at all. Because if they changed the ending, what was the purpose of Carino being there to begin with?
True.
You don't advance the story if Steen loses. What do you do with Carino and Steen? They've been through their shit already. That adds nothing. So they had Carino there for a reason from the jump. And the only thing that makes sense was him joining back up with Steen after he won the title. And that they're in Canada, and fuck the wrestling logic, it's only supposed to be his one match. I think that he was going to win from the get. My problem with that match was the way they built up Steen and the way he bashed Davey. Steen has bashed Davey for his wrestling technique and everything, just like the typical IWC fan would. But when they went in for that match, Steen actually let him do all the bullshit that he complained about. And that's the problem with the match. If he had such a problem with Davey's character and the way they wrestled Davey's matches, they should have made it seem like he was doing everything in his power to keep Davey from going for submissions and going for endless kicks to the head, which they did nothing of the sort. But, like I said, that's my problem with the match. The end was kind of flat. The best thing that the match had was Carrie refusing to hand Steen the belt and Carino joining back up with Jacobs and fucking Steen after the match. Otherwise, there was nothing really to write home about that match.
Well, whether they changed it on the fly or not, can you imagine the backlash that they'd be receiving if Davey would have retained the title on top of the technical issues that they had?
Oh, that's part of one of the reasons why I don't think they changed it. They've always been behind when it comes to switching the belts. And it's finally time that they could give it to someone. I mean, it's not his hottest part, but the way they built it up and him not being in Ring of Honor, he got the title shot at his hottest peak wrestling-wise. So for once, it makes sense in Ring of Honor to actually cough up the belt.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now that we've had our technical issues, let's see if we can kill our ratings like Raw.
Raw, you say?
All right. This is the reason that most people came to watch us today. We're going to talk WWE Raw ratings and hopefully segue that into the draft a little bit. But first, we're going to start talking about the Raw ratings.
And how awful they are.
Yeah. So, basically, after WrestleMania, they had a huge number of people. And little by little, slowly, and then it fell off a cliff now, right after Brock Lesnar left TV. To the tune of they're below a 3.0 on the ratings scale.
For the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
3.0.
It is, and knowing WWE, you can almost sense the big shakeup, the big, oh, we got to drop the belt off of X, we have to switch rosters for Y, you know. You can just sense that whenever WWE starts losing the ratings like this, they're going to do something big, shake up the roster, and get some belts off of people. So, yeah.
So that was the show, ladies and gentlemen. No.
Yeah. No.
DC. No.
Okay, before anyone in the chat says it and before anyone on the show says it, I realize, and I think we all realize, that ratings aren't the end-all, be-all. But
at least for us,
as I've said many times, the WWE for various reasons, still focuses on those ratings.
Money reasons.
I get that there's, people watching it online, and I get that there's, the DVR ratings that need to be thrown in later. I get that, and that's fine, but the WWE as a company still looks at those ratings every single week, and it helps them to guide with the future. If the ratings are going up, they're happy and they keep going with what they're doing. If the ratings are going down, like Kyle said, they start to panic. And they've done it God knows how many times.
Numerous times.
Whether it's to bring back an Attitude Era name for a quick ratings pop, or whether it's to put together a dream match of some sort to give people something to watch. It's just how the company operates. And, when you have the ratings dipping below 3.0 for an overall episode, not just, hour 1 was low and then hour 2 picked up. When the entire show is a 2.94, which I believe this week's was.
Right.
Whether we as the internet fans want to believe it or not, there are some major, major concerns within the WWE right now.
Yeah, even if ratings didn't matter, a 2.94 for an overall show simply isn't pretty. That's not nice to look at, especially for the WWE. Even if we don't think they mean anything, or if they shouldn't mean anything, that's just not a good thing to see. And the WWE will certainly start panicking at least soon, and with a big pay-per-view coming up, at least with a pay-per-view coming up, you can probably expect to see things get shaken up quite a bit.
I believe we've talked about this in the past, off camera, off mic. I think a lot of the blame, or at least a little bit of the blame, can be shifted to Lord Tensai. Ever since he debuted, he has not gotten any ratings bump, and in fact, he has lost quite a bit of viewers.
Actually, can I add to that with a question, actually?
Sure.
That was across my mind. Bringing up Tensai, do you guys think that the lower ratings is also a fact that WWE has kind of been focusing on introducing new talent? They've been kind of all over the place with even just present talent that they haven't been using, and new talent, just trying to throw them out there and see what's happening. Do you guys think that's part of it? Too many people with no direction, or?
It could be. That's something else we've said. They're in introduced talent mode right now. So many new people on the scene right now.
And it certainly doesn't help that they've got at least 3 guys doing pretty much the exact same thing at the moment with Tensai, Brodus Clay, and Ryback. So, you've got essentially overload on those types of characters. You've got a lot of new people being introduced and being, fleshed out at the moment who aren't exactly, well-known names. So you have all this stuff sort of happening, and it's not necessarily surprising to see that ratings are either, declining or just not being nearly as impressive as one would think.
Because I think they really have a lack of direction. Because even if you look at what they're doing with Santino and his booking is so up and down, back and forward, I don't think they really have full direction for what they're doing right now.
Yeah, here's a quick ratings breakdown on Tensai. His debut match on the 2nd of April, 0. No gain, no loss. So
interesting.
All right. His second week, squash match against Yoshitatsu, lost 415,000 viewers. The 16th of April, I believe that was the Cena match. Extreme Rules against Cena. He gained 319,000 people, but that's bad for the overrun. April 23rd, squash match against R-Truth. Lost 3,000. The 30th, I believe he was just part of the Johnny A. Cena drama. That segment as a whole gained 578,000, but that can be attributed mostly to Cena. And then the 7th, last week's handicap match with him and Daniel Bryan against CM Punk, he lost 105,000 people in the overrun, which is nearly impossible to do with the way people tune in for the next show on the USA Network.
Which basically means either enough people dropped off of Raw when that match was going on, or when 11 o'clock hit, that it just brought the ratings down. The people who were joining in didn't outweigh the number of people who saw that match going on and said, "Nope, not interested." That's terrifying.
So
it can't be that Japanese wrestling fans are offended and change the channel whenever he's on TV.
I mean, that could be it, but
Could be
how
it.
many?
So, well, basically, what you just pointed out, Kyle, is that unless he's on the screen with John Cena, people don't care.
Well, hell, even when he was on screen with Cena
they don't
in
care.
the Extreme Rules match, he had a bad overrun
Well,
rating.
it still gains something.
Right.
I mean,
Cena gains regardless. That's just who he
See,
is.
that goes down to one of the points that I was going to bring up later. The people that are talking about, how to help the WWE and are talking about Cena needs to go away for a while have no fucking idea what they're talking about. If you want to repackage him, if you want to push him differently, if you want to push him in a certain way, that's fine. But the people that are like, yeah, he needs to go away to see if other people can, handle, no, that's not working.
That would be terrible.
He's the only legit draw on the entire roster. Literally, on the entire roster. He's the only draw.
Yeah, here's some information from the Bleacher Report that I've got. Last week's, the week before last, that had Cena, John Laurinaitis, and Lord Tensai, ended with a 3.5. The week before that, ended with a 3.8 with Cena and Lesnar. 2 weeks before that, Tensai and Cena drew a 3.4, and before that, Cena and Otunga received a 3.4. Cena is a ratings draw. You cannot argue that. And if you want Cena to go away, you're going to lose all of that, like we've seen the past 2 weeks when he's not in the main event, not doing, the number one thing. When he's not
I don't think
he's not.
I don't
Go
think
ahead.
people so much want Cena to go away. I just think the fact that he played up that he might have been injured, people were relieved that maybe they wouldn't be seeing him for a while, and then were disappointed that he showed up on the next night's Raw and is pretty much fine and is going to be there for every other show like clockwork. I don't think people want Cena to disappear altogether.
Mm-hmm. No.
Oh, some do.
Trust me,
Well,
you've
They're
seen them.
stupid for that, but
They are.
That's just people using their brains. Some people get sick of certain stuff and don't want to deal with it at all from now on. We know they actually don't change the show because Cena's on it or anything like that. They're just not fans of Cena, and he's the one who gets the brunt of their anger, which is understandable considering he's the face of the company.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
Hey, Phantom, your comment in the chat. If people are so tired of Super Cena, how come he's the one bringing in the ratings?
Yeah, it's not people. It's
If they're tired of Super Cena, my God, how tired are they of Lord Tensai?
Yeah, it's not people like the general populace. It's just within the IWC that they are tired of Cena. And
I mean,
even that's not right.
and maybe
I just
America-
said, just brought up the numbers that Cena has decent ratings when he's on screen, especially at the end of the show. So it's not
Look
that
back.
people are tired of Super Cena, it's that you guys are tired of Super Cena.
Look back to every time that Cena has not appeared on Raw. Whether it's because of a legit injury, like when he's out with surgeries and things like that, or as parts of storylines where, he's not going to appear the next week. Ratings fall in the toilet. Because, all of those built-in fans that Cena brings. If you want to say it's the kids and the women only, that's fine. Say it's the kids and the women only, whatever. Either way, though, these people are bringing them in. They're coming in because of him. And when he's not there, they don't want to watch.
Yeah,
They don't want to watch. So
and it causes WWE to probably change their storylines. It's like, oh yeah, Cena's fired. He's not going to be on TV anymore. Ratings plummet. Oh wait, there he is. Yeah, he's there.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You know, they have that issue where they've tried to write him out. They've tried it multiple times to write him out of a storyline, but they can't do it because they see what the numbers do. And that's, again, WWE cares about the ratings. They see the ratings as the end-all, be-all. We don't as the internet fans because we know that there are 8 million ways to watch Raw every week. We know that. For God's sakes, LoPR puts on a fucking stream of Raw every week. We understand how to do this. But WWE sees that. They're like, okay, we're going to write Cena out. He's not going to be on TV for a couple of weeks. Bam, let's do it. Tuesday morning rolls around. Vince McMahon gets that memo. Ratings went down 17% this week. Get Cena back on the show.
See,
no.
But that's lazy. If the problem is they're not building up other wrestlers to be competitive with Cena to the point that they can have Cena off a TV show for a week or two. Every time something happens, it's, oh, we need Cena back right away. We need this right away. They panic all the time, and there's no reason for it.
Well,
what they should be doing when they see that is, okay, we're lacking whenever Cena's here. What ways can we build when Cena's not here to avoid those losses? And they never do that.
I get that. That was going to be my next point.
But again, that goes back to Cena. Granted, it's not his fault, and it has nothing to do with him, but it's going to be a reason why fans blame Cena for shit. Which is why I always say Cena gets a bad rap for just going out and doing his job.
For just being, basically.
Yeah.
See, like I said, that was going to be my next point. You know, the WWE, at any given time on Raw and at any given time on SmackDown, if you notice, they're only pushing 2 or 3 guys.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else has no direction. You know, you're lucky to get a 5-minute match. And that's it. That's all you get. They just have the main event storyline or the top storyline, and that's all they focus on. All show long, all month long. So when one of those guys in the main event is taken out of the picture, they have nothing. So as we've mentioned with Cena, when they take Cena out of the picture, there's no one that they can put up above him. CM Punk, they try, and it was successful for a little while. Then what happened? They cut him off at the knees. Completely neutered his character. And I'm on that bandwagon now.
Wait, which bandwagon? That they neutered him?
I'm not going to say that they buried him, because he's still a big star. Obviously, he still has the WWE title. But look at the character that he played last summer.
Right.
Look at what CM Punk was leading up to Money in the Bank and what he was right out of Money in the Bank. Now look at what he is today. Huge difference.
Cookie cutter.
Yeah, he's not even the same person anymore.
Everything that he talked about in those promos going up to Money in the Bank, all the changes that he wanted to bring in, everything that he wanted to do differently, nothing.
Nothing.
Not a single thing.
Look at the entire CM Punk Chris Jericho feud. The entire feud was CM Punk doing his best John Cena impression. I've had this. I've had that. I've overcome this. I've overcome that. Everything he has become is John Cena Jr. to the T. He has no adversity anymore. Mm-hmm. He's just a guy who overcomes challenges, and that's it.
And you don't have the muscles to back it up, so it doesn't work for him.
So
it's annoying, and I know I'm kind of on the same bandwagon where they say Punk is like being cut off at the knees, because I see them doing it with DB. They do it on the low. They push him when they want. They don't push him. They support him sometimes. They don't support him. Like, I don't know if they really want to build stars into megastars. They just kind of, to me, it always feels like if it's not Cena or Orton, they kind of poke at them, sabotage them a little bit.
That's that to a certain degree, I would agree with you there. But with shit like Danielson, it's the fact that Danielson got over for a reason that was the opposite of what they wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah, he got over in spite of the WWE, not because of the WWE.
So they're just going to be like, fuck you. You want Brian? We'll give you Brian. But we're going to give you Brian the way we want to give you Brian. And like Punk, we're going to neuter him.
It's the same thing they did with Zack Ryder. Remember how the fans all wanted Zack Ryder? All right, okay, we're going to do that. We're going to give you the exact same Zack Ryder in 4 segments a week, doing the exact same thing, being the exact same goofy character until you get tired of it, until we point out all the flaws he has, and then we're just going to get rid of him. When the fans want something that the WWE isn't necessarily behind, they either panic or they get mad, and they're like, no, we're not doing this. This isn't what we said. This isn't what we want you to support. So you're going to get it, but you're going to get it in a way that we want. Or you're going to get it too much to the point where you don't want it anymore. Because we're the WWE, we're the be-all, end-all to wrestling.
Here, okay, long story short, the very, very first thing that the WWE needs to do to fix their problems, they're not going to do it, but goddammit, they need to. They need to start at the top. They need a complete overhaul of the writing team on both shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What are you going to do with Stephanie? She has to be there.
They need to stop going out of wrestling to hire non-wrestling writers and non-wrestling fans. Because if you're catering towards wrestling fans, and goddammit, you should be as a wrestling problem, reading the chat, as a wrestling company, you should be catering towards wrestling fans. You should have wrestling fans on the team to understand the way that wrestling fans think. You got to sit there and be like, okay, I'm helping to write this show. I'm putting this together. I'm looking at the storyline. Would I, as a wrestling fan, want to see this? 10, 15 years ago, before I got into the business, before I was a writer and I was watching wrestling, how would I have reacted to this storyline? I would have fucking hated it. I wouldn't want to see this. Why would anybody want to see this? And then you got to figure it out. But you're bringing in people that self-admittedly aren't wrestling fans. They've worked in Hollywood. They've worked for soap operas. They've worked for other shows. So that's the aspect that they're bringing to the table. And these people, they probably come into the company not knowing anybody in the roster. Like, hi, my name is John Cena. John Cena, you say? Okay.
And to add to that point, when they hired Freddie Prinze Jr., they treated him like a stooge, and he was an actual fan of the workers.
True.
So, I mean, therein lies the problem. A lot of these wrestlers think this writer's a clown because he's a fan of theirs. What's the problem with a fan of yours coming into the business and working and putting their ideas, trying to make it what it is?
Trying to support you, the professional wrestler, not trying to support the
wrestlers themselves were fans before they became wrestlers. So that's kind of indicative of the culture they've created there. They want to push everything entertainment, which I don't fault them at all. It is entertainment with a side of wrestling. I get that, and I get why they do it. I'm not going to fault them at all for that. But you still need to incorporate people who know what they're doing in that business to get it across to the fans, where fans will accept it a bit more. But again, I mean, they're Hollywood. They don't want to acknowledge that they're a wrestling company or have wrestling fans and shit, anything wrestling related.
Vince McMahon hates professional wrestling. This we know.
But it's a bigger problem than that, because if they want to be Hollywood, they can be called Hollywood. If they want to be entertainment, let them be entertainment. But you would think, with a staff that's full of soap opera writers, sitcom writers, movie writers, that they'll be able to put together some direction for the shows. That's what you did in your other professions. It wasn't wrestling, but you're putting in direction. You have Brodus Clay, no direction. Ryback, no direction. Zack Ryder, no direction. And you could keep going on. Dolph Ziggler, no direction. Lazy King, no direction. Like, none of these people have direction, and you guys are soap opera writers where all you do is write year-long plans with shows that have direction. How do you not have direction in your show?
Even the champions don't get direction, which is baffling to me. They put belts on these people, and then they just stop caring about them. You can't just build somebody up, give them the belt, and then go, all right, peace, see ya. Do it on your own. That's not going to work.
We have to stop the slander on the no direction shit when it comes to Ryback, Brodus, and Tensai. Tensai has a direction. Granted, it's not in the way most people want it to go, and it's a smaller role they thought he would have, but it's warranted considering what Kyle pointed out with the ratings. Mm-hmm. With what he's been turning out, his direction is fine. Brodus has a direction. Brodus
he's now
is supposed
a direction.
Yeah, he's now.
He's had a direction for the past couple weeks, and pretty much since he debuted. Brodus is supposed to come on, break up all the seriousness, and give a little laughs for a couple of minutes, and move on. That's his character right now. His character isn't a super serious character who's pursuing the belt or anything like that. He has a direction. Ryback is arguable. Ryback is still being introduced. Ryback doesn't need to have an angle with any particular wrestler at this point. Neither does Brodus Clay.
Or Claudio, or any of them that they debut. But excluding the new wrestlers, excluding the new ones, and I just threw them in there, there are a bunch of mid-card to upper mid-card wrestlers that have no direction. I don't know what they're doing with Ziggler or Swagger, with Truth. Sometimes you think you know what they're doing with Santino. Not really. You don't know what they're doing with him. SmackDown is full of wrestlers with no direction.
And they certainly didn't have a direction for the former tag team champions Epico and Primo, right up until they started putting them in this stable with AW, but that wasn't when they had the titles. It was after they lost the titles that they decided to give them a direction.
Name me a tag team that has had a direction since Miz.
See, I was about to say, we'll get into that. That's the tag team. But, exactly. But before I forget, going back to my point from earlier and what's happening in the chat, and God damn it, I know we're not supposed to be focusing on this chat, but they keep bringing shit up that I need to talk about. Vince McMahon is not the problem. The problem is that the people directly underneath him, people like the Triple H's of the world, don't have balls to say anything to him. I understand that if you're a stage hand, if you're a brand new writer, you've been there for 2 weeks, you're not going to walk up to Vince and say, Vince, are you fucking retarded? Seriously? This is the dumbest idea in the world. I understand you're not going to say that to him. But the people like Triple H, who's supposed to be, the wrestling mind, he's supposed to be that person who has studied the business. That's been a part of his character, but if you know anything about him, that's not just a character. That's how he is. He's a student of the game. He knows wrestling inside and out. He should know what Vince, the different ideas that Vince comes up with. He should know which ones are good and which ones are bad. And he should be in a position of power enough to where he can tell Vince, it's fucking retarded. Don't do that. But he doesn't do it. What's Vince going to do? Fire Triple H? Really? Is he going to fire Stephanie?
He'll just take his daughter back.
You're gonna like, oh, you want to step to me? No, you're fired now. Fuck you. No, he's not gonna fire these people. These are the people that need to step to Vince or pull him to the side and be like, okay, I understand that this is the direction you want to go in, but as a wrestling fan, I don't think we should go here. This is the direction we should go. We should push these people instead of these people. The crowd doesn't care about these guys. I mean, that's the problem. That there's nobody that's there that can say something to Vince. Now, does Vince have his idiosyncrasies that don't really work in 2012, but that worked in the 80s? Of course. But again, if no one's going to say anything to him, why would he stop?
Right.
Good point.
What would make him, even care? And what makes it even funnier is if you watch enough, wrestling DVDs, like documentaries, and if you read enough autobiographies and you know enough about the business in that regard, when people mention Vince McMahon, they mention the fact that he appreciates when people stand up to him.
Mm-hmm.
He loves it when you can stand up to him. Not, tell him to fuck off, hope he dies, but say, no, this isn't a good idea. We should be doing this instead. Even down to the wrestlers themselves. When Vince pushes ideas onto the wrestlers, this is the gimmick I think you should have. We're going to call you this. We're going to push you this way. These are the people you're going to feud with. When the people just sit back and go, okay, all right, that's one thing. But when the people sit there looking him in the eyes and say, I appreciate that, Vince, and I respect you, but this is what I think we should do with my character. I want to do this. I would prefer to be called this. He loves that. But everyone's afraid to do it. Like, this is known fact that he likes to be
challenged, basically.
Yeah, he likes that. But everyone's just afraid, oh, he's going to fire me. I don't know. Am I going to be blackballed? Is he going to be mad? And am I going to become a jobber now? And I can't do this. I can't afford to lose this kind of money. I'm just going to do anything he tells me to do. I'm just going to be unhappy. And like, nobody stands up to him. That's what we need. We need someone to come in there and stand up to him.
All right. So, let's play a game.
Did somebody say game?
Yes, they
Is
did.
that Lemmy?
Sorry.
I'm going to list off a wrestler's ratings gains / losses, and then you guys just, gut reaction. Who is this person? And that'll be it. And I'll tell you who it is, who it's not, etc.
I like
All right.
this. Let's go.
All right.
For it, Kyle.
First wrestler on this list, and these are just raw ratings.
CM Punk.
Now, wait a minute.
This person, April 16th, lost 600,000. April 23rd, lost 439,000. April 30th, lost 200,000. And on the April 7th, lost 105,000 in a segment that's supposed to gain a lot.
The Miz.
No.
He hasn't been
Bro-
on TV that much.
Brodus Clay.
No. Jeff?
CM Punk.
No.
I was going to
Glow.
go CM Punk. All right,
Glow,
so,
your guess, and that's it.
Cody Rhodes.
No. All right. Daniel Bryan is that wrestler.
No.
Yeah.
No,
He lost.
no.
He's lost a lot of people, and he was part of the segment that lost over 105,000 in the overrun last week.
All right. Well,
It's done.
since
All right.
I'm the man with excuses for everything, I'm just gonna blame it on the fact that he's a woman beater, and only Puerto Ricans like him.
All right.
Yeah, check the
Puerto
Spanish
Ricans
ratings.
Cable though. So
He gets a good live reaction, but I don't know if that translates well to the fans at home who are. Remember, he's still supposed to be a heel, and he's getting face reactions. That might be a little bit confusing and off-putting. So,
All right. Next person. April 2nd, lost 300,000 in a segment that usually loses more. It's the ratings poison segment. The 23rd, lost 439,000. And then April 7th gained 190,000 in what usually gains a lot more in the 10 p.m. spot.
The Miz.
No.
R-Truth.
No.
Chris
Brock-
Jericho.
No. Glow.
Brock Lesnar.
No. Sheamus.
I believe that.
Yeah, he was only on Raw 3 times in the last month. He's a SmackDown guy. Yeah.
That's why I picked Brock, because it was only like 3 appearances. But okay.
But why would Brock lose ratings, though? He didn't
Yeah.
say
I
anything.
was only thinking about the appearances.
All right. Next guy. April 2nd, gained 1 million people. April 9th gained 400,000 people, and then was a part of a segment at the end that was a bad overrun, gained 300,000. April 16th gained 117,000. April 23rd gained 52,000, and then gained 873,000 in the overrun. And then he started the show on April 30th with a 3.5 rating.
John Cena.
No.
Ryback.
No.
Triple H.
No.
Wait, he said he started John Laurinaitis.
No. Brock Lesnar.
No, that's a lot of appearances, actually.
God damn it, Glow! Don't guess Brock Lesnar on losing ratings. God damn it! It should have been you.
Brock Lesnar was that person. 1 million people in the overrun following WrestleMania.
Well, did you see the reaction that got? That doesn't surprise me at all.
Not one bit.
How many people were probably, on Twitter and seeing their timelines blowing up? Brock Lesnar's back. Wait, Brock Lesnar's on Raw? Hold up, let me turn this on.
Yep. All right.
The powers of Twitter when used correctly.
Last person.
We're not going to get any of this, are we?
April 9th.
Really not.
April 9th lost about 100,000 in a segment that's probably going to lose that much anyways. April 16th gained 300,000 when it's supposed to lose, and it's supposed to be the ratings poison. The 23rd gained 2,250,000. April 30th gained 282,000, and then April 7th May 7th last week gained 55,000 in the ratings poison segment.
Brodus Clay.
Yes.
Wow.
Brodus Clay?
Brodus
He was
Clay.
going to keep guessing until it was right. Okay.
Brodus Clay.
Torres.
Yeah,
Really?
Brodus
John
Clay.
Laurinaitis.
Brodus Clay is actually a pretty decent ratings draw, even in
Because-
segments that don't usually historically gain anything at all. He's gaining 300,000 viewers.
Funk is on a roll, ladies and gentlemen. Funk is on a roll.
People like to have fun.
This is true.
So, we have documented proof that Brodus Clay can bring in wrestling fans. Not a million for a single segment, obviously, but bring in ratings. So, shouldn't that be a sign to the WWE that they should use him?
No, because that means they have to change what they're doing. And that's a gamble that then he'll lose people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it depends. Remember,
Giving them the same thing every week.
Until it suffers a dip, they'll keep giving us the same exact shit. Maybe a slight change here and there to get him a little bit more burn. But as long as he's still doing solid, they'll keep it the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
well, if he's the lone shining star gaining viewers when everything else is crap and losing viewers or doing badly in the segment, you'd think, if they're doing their research, that maybe try to give him a Rikishi push. Loath as I am to say that.
Maybe it'll happen. I mean, we obviously have the proof here, and it's bound to happen if the ratings keep going up for Brodus Clay's segments. So I think it'll eventually happen. Maybe not immediately, but now he's engaged in a feud with The Miz, and maybe after that he moves on to one of the secondary titles, or maybe he becomes a major part of the draft.
3 months, he'll be the Intercontinental Champion. Maybe less. They just gotta find a way to get the belt off Santino onto a heel so Brodus can win it.
Well, speaking of the draft, WWE, when they have these ratings drops in the middle of the year, post WrestleMania season, they usually do a draft to shake things up. We thought we were going to get one in the 3-hour Raw on the 23rd, but that didn't really happen. And now that the ratings are going, you can almost be guaranteed June 11th, I think, is the next 3-hour Raw.
Yep.
I can almost guarantee you that's going to be a draft.
And if it's not, we're all going to be very, very confused.
Alright, so I want you guys to name off a couple people that either need to or will switch brands in the draft? Cold. Let's start with you.
Yeah, because we all know who I'm gonna say first.
Mm-hmm.
Dolph fucking Ziggler
Correct.
should have never been moved from SmackDown from the jump.
Yeah.
Bastards.
Dolph Ziggler was going to be my choice to go back to SmackDown as well.
Wait. Is this people that we think should move, or people
Yeah,
that we
will
think
move.
will move?
Should or will.
Okay.
Both.
Either way, just
Either way.
clarify.
Just clarify this person's what should happen, what will happen, sort of thing.
All right. Just checking.
You got anybody else, Cold?
Yeah, I'd agree Swagger should go back too. I think they should move Ryback over to Raw because his character would work better on a live show. And then I would learn if the WWE truly are piping in Goldberg chants or not. But
That's true.
yeah, if you move Ryback, then you gotta move fucking Tensai, and I think he would do better on the SmackDown roster too.
All right. Jeff,
that works out.
who you got?
Well, I made this prediction on the prediction show that we did, and I think I'm going to stick with it. I think The Miz will move from Raw to SmackDown. I think, he's gotten kind of stale. His, overacting. I think he's going to do better on a taped show than a live show, so I think Miz will end up going to SmackDown. Kind of have to agree with the Ryback-Tensai swap. I think, that will happen if Tensai keeps showing that he is not a ratings draw and is completely just flopping as a character. He might not be around for much longer, but I think if he is, he'll probably get moved over to SmackDown and
All right.
Ryback will come back to Raw.
Now,
Go to
name
Raw.
someone that probably should but won't.
Probably should, but won't. I'm going to say Cody Rhodes.
You think he's going to stick on SmackDown?
I think so. I think he needs to move to Raw. I think he's pretty much done everything he can on SmackDown with the Intercontinental belt. And I think he needs to move to Raw, go back to Raw, and start doing some stuff that isn't just standing around and doing nothing. But I don't think he's going to get moved. I honestly think he's going to stay. They should move him, but I don't think it's going to happen because they just don't have any direction for that kid. And it's sad.
All right. Glow, who you got?
I think actually R-Truth should go from Raw back to SmackDown.
Should,
I think he should.
but will he?
But I don't think he will. The person who I think will make a switch, I think they're actually going to take, is a new guy. I think they're going to take Antonio Cesaro and bring him onto Raw as a full-time Raw guy. Because Tensai is not really working. They need more heels and larger heels to work with on Raw. And he has the look, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be working. So he'll probably be brought over in the supplemental draft, so probably nobody will even know. But I think he's going to be brought over onto Raw.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
No?
Fuck, if you're gonna move Truth, you might as well move Kofi to SmackDown too.
Oh, yeah.
They are tag champions, so it makes sense.
All right. Hustle, last guy. Who you got?
Okay, but before I even get to that, Phantom, you're killing me. You keep bringing up points in the chat that I need to mention, even though I'm not supposed to be paying attention to the chat. Do the drafts matter when people appear on both shows either way? No.
No,
But
it doesn't.
As I've mentioned before on the show, we said that in 2011. We said that in 2010. We said that in 2009. We said that in 2008.
It keeps getting said, and it keeps happening. So
There's a theme to that. Every year, so-and-so is appearing on this show anyway. So-and-so is appearing on this show. These two are feuding, for God's sakes. What's the point of the draft? And then we have one anyway. So, is there a point to it? No. Especially this year, but we're going to get one anyway.
I just find the draft entertaining and a nice change of pace.
I do too.
Right.
I think they should have more shows that focus on the brands and how different the brands should be than what they are and shit like that. And it gives focus to talent that wouldn't necessarily get focus in the ring when they would on a Raw. I think it's a nice change of pace.
they also need to have more Muppet shows. Just saying.
Fact.
Featuring
All right.
Sheamus in the segment.
Before we completely derail this, Hustle, who should and who will switch brands this year.
Okay, well, the first thing that I'm going to mention is something that, we talked about on Skype before, but wasn't mentioned on the air. If you look at the divas on Raw,
Oh, that's right.
as of right now, today, there are 2 active divas on Raw. You have Beth Phoenix and Kelly Kelly. Karma is also a Raw diva, but I don't know if you noticed or not, she's not there. Eve is not a wrestler anymore. She has a new gimmick, so she doesn't count, although she is on Raw. So right now you have Beth Phoenix and Kelly Kelly, while all of the other divas are SmackDown divas. So that needs to be changed, whether we like it or not, whether we want it to or not. That needs to be changed. You need to bring someone like an AJ maybe over to the Raw roster. Somebody along those lines. And I get, this is where it's going to be mentioned that, well, all the divas appear on Raw anyway, etc. I get that. But just officially, 2 divas on Raw, 8 divas on SmackDown, that needs to change. So look for that to happen. And if I had to pick one, I would say AJ. Look at all the focus that they're putting on AJ. Look at the time that they've put into developing her character and how successful she has been in getting that character across. How crazy she looks, and we've all mentioned it, but she's probably not acting with a lot of that.
No, she's crazy.
You can't.
You can tell.
You cannot go from the cute, sweet, innocent AJ to the psycho AJ overnight without having to dig into your own personal experiences. Just nobody's that good of an actress. Meryl Streep couldn't do that, okay?
I've dealt with crazy. She's crazy.
It's
I would like to say that. I would like to say that it's interesting that, we brought it up earlier. Hustle brought it up earlier that about 2 or 3 people will get pushed or actually developed on each show, and AJ is one of them. It's kind of interesting to note. So, continue.
Since you mentioned it, I was going to bring it up. AJ has had more character development in, let's say, 6 to 8 months than most WWE divas had over 8 to 10 years.
Fact.
What they've done with AJ is a fucking miracle. They actually found a diva that they put time into, and it's not even in the ring.
Yeah.
And she's one of the better characters they have. Easy. They need to do more shit like this.
Yeah, that's what makes it amazing. Like you said, it's not an in-ring transformation that they've done for her character. It's actual character development. It's through her promos. It's through her facial expressions when she's just talking to somebody.
Right.
They've done so much to build her up. It's ridiculous. But that would be my pick for someone that will... I don't even know if I would say will or should. That could fit in both categories. But AJ to Raw is something that I think will be happening and needs to happen. Whatever.
All right. Anybody else?
It's just so hard to pick.
Right.
I was going to say, I think AJ's secret boyfriend will be drafted to Raw as well. And he goes by the name of Cassius Ono.
Her
KO
boyfriend, huh?
Now, just imagine the yes versus oh no chance.
Oh, God.
Dan
DB
Cold
versus
is a
Ono
writer for
feud?
WWE now.
Are you serious?
I thought about this weeks ago. I have a whole angle booked out for about 6 months between Chris Hero, AJ, and Bryan Danielson. I don't give a fuck if he's injured. I don't need him to wrestle for like a month and a half.
You can just show up and cut promos. That's it. That's all he has to do.
Yeah, I'd buy the pay-per-view right now.
Shit would be cash.
Well, see, you say that you'd buy that pay-per-view right
No
now.
one else would.
And that's fine. I'm not saying that's a bad idea, but we're also getting Daniel Bryan versus CM Punk in 4 days. No one's buying that. Nobody's buying that pay-per-view.
Nobody's
Nobody.
buying that one. No.
Yeah.
You're looking at possibly all-time low numbers for this coming pay-per-view. I mean, Tito's been predicting it on Twitter that it's going to be the second worst bought pay-per-view in WWE history.
Oh,
I don't know if I'd go that far, but
it can't be.
top or bottom 10, I think that could be easily obtainable for this show.
It would have to beat out the ECW one too, and that was pretty bad. So I don't know.
So I mean,
I don't know.
would the internet fans like to see Hero and Danielson? Of course they would. Would even a percentage of the actual WWE universe that, you know, the quote marks, not the smarks, would they like to see it? Yeah. But overall, would it sell? We don't know. It would have to depend on the rest of Cold's storyline, I guess. It would depend on how everything is put together.
If Cole's booking it, I'd buy it. I trust him.
You just trust him that much, huh?
First of all, I already know if I ran a promotion, I'd be running it out of an old fucking abandoned fucking building. I'm doing this for me, nobody else. I'm gonna do my best Vince McMahon impression.
Since we're now in over the limit discussion.
I wasn't done.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let Hustle finish.
Go on, Hustle.
I was gonna say, you know, we're talking about moves that should be made, but that won't be made. I have a move that should be made, but I just will never say it happening, and it's something that is talked about every single year.
What's Cena?
Exactly.
Yeah.
John Cena to SmackDown.
Never, ever happening.
Yeah, that's why I said I know it's not happening, but SmackDown could damn sure use the star power that Cena would bring and the ratings draw, and it would give the people on Raw a chance to really shine. You know, but of course, goes back to what we said earlier, that the WWE needs to push people that can take that spot. So if Cena goes to SmackDown, you're going to have, you know, let's say, just a shot in the dark number of 8 main event caliber guys on Raw. Those 8 guys need to step their game up immensely to make up for the loss of Cena. But again, it's that glass ceiling. You take Cena away, it gives the opportunity for these guys on Raw to move up. You know, obviously we talked about Dolph Ziggler moving to SmackDown, but let's just use the current Raw roster. Could Dolph Ziggler then move up on Raw?
Should.
I don't think Dolph Ziggler could do anything more to move up the WWE roster than he's already done. There's nothing. He's done everything in his power to break that ceiling, and apparently Triple H is just standing on top of it saying, nigga.
He keeps moving the brass ring for Dolph Ziggler. It's like, here's the main event. Nope. Nice try. No.
Brodus Clay, go.
Brodus Clay brings in ratings, though.
Yeah.
See, the whole thing about Cena moving to SmackDown and how, you know, it should happen, it'll never happen, I want it to happen, whatever. I've seen a few different people coming up with scenarios of, you know, Cena's feuding with Laurinaitis, and as some sort of a punishment, Laurinaitis could send him to SmackDown. But at the same time, that buries SmackDown.
Yeah, openly. It's not just like how they do it behind the scenes, but openly.
That's on air going, SmackDown is a terrible show, and now you are going to be on that terrible show. Goodbye.
Now, if he said NXT, there you go. No one watches that.
I mean, knows it's still on.
I mean, everybody knows that, you know, Raw is John Cena's home. It's what he's called home since 2005. You know, minus that real quick draft where he was redrafted to Raw later in the same night. But it's his home. It's what he wants to be on as a character. So technically it would make sense for Laurinaitis to, quote, banish him from Raw. But again, like I said, you're making SmackDown look really bad at that point. But again, as a ratings draw, it would be interesting to see how many of these people would tune in on a Friday.
And it kind of makes no sense for him to banish him anywhere if he's the GM on both shows.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if it's just a matter of Cena's character wanting to be on Raw, but with the whole ratings thing and with Cena's fan base being the kids and the kids possibly tuning in to see him, what else are kids doing on a Friday night?
Masturbating.
Well, they can do that as they watch SmackDown. Like, we're talking about our age bracket. Our age bracket generally has different things to do on a Friday night. You're going to be going out, you're going to be doing this and this, so that's why we don't watch SmackDown. But the kids, they're going to be home. They can watch SmackDown. You're almost guaranteed to see a huge rating spike for SmackDown every week if Cena's there. But again, who can step up on Raw in his absence?
Should be anybody, but
could be Rey Mysterio. But
before we get to the pay-per-view, I wanted to ask a question myself.
go ahead.
What needs to be done more than the draft is a mass fucking firing of talent.
Yep.
I don't like to see anybody lose their job, especially in the economy that we have now. But something's got to give. They have way too much talent. If you can name 3-4 people you think should get fired, who would they be?
Oh wow! Give me a second.
All right.
Second?
No, because it's so hard to pick. There's so many of them to
There's
choose
so
from.
many
The three-
to choose from, really.
The top three.
3 or 4 people that should be fired, you
The
said?
top three. Let me see.
I don't. Should, would, and it doesn't matter.
Well, Trent Beretta's had absolutely no direction for several months, so he could probably get let go with no consequences, even if he is a pretty decent worker. So that'd be one.
Ezekiel Jackson.
Yep. That's
Jeff.
one of my names.
I mean, Heath Slater, but Heath Slater he could bump. Never mind, leave him.
Yeah, I have to stay. I've got to keep my job, ladies and gentlemen.
Stand up for yourself.
First off, I have to still end my feud with Flo Rida, that son of a bitch. So I'm not leaving until that gets done.
But
Yeah, who else?
JTG, I feel like I'm firing all the black
JTG needs
people.
to go.
JTG.
A diva
glad
that
that's
could
okay.
go would be like Alicia Fox, maybe.
Well,
They've
really
cut a
firing
lot
all
of
the black
divas.
people. Jeez.
They've cut a lot of divas.
See, I don't think JTG is getting fired.
Yeah, he just got a new look. He's probably not going to get fired.
He got a new valet. He got a
Yeah.
new look. It's just-
Sorry, Ro. Jinder Mahal. I know he loves Jinder Mahal for some reason.
I don't think Jinder Mahal's going to get fired either.
But he said who we want to fire. None of these.
Okay,
people
well,
are
yeah,
gonna
I'm
get
just
fired.
saying,
Yeah.
just countering that with, I don't think a lot of these international talents are going to get fired. That WWE loves that shit. They love being able to market to the other countries and their other television markets, the lesser ones. And as we've seen with how long they've kept Kali around,
I know.
they really love that Indian market.
But he is 7 feet tall too.
Let's see.
Oh,
Mike
Tensai.
McGillicuddy.
I love McGillicuddy and Tensai to be gone both.
I mean,
But I'm not a fan of Albert, so you take that for what that is worth.
see, this is hard. I don't really know who to choose. There's so many to choose from.
Drew McIntyre.
Oh,
Drew McIntyre,
No.
See,
Sorry,
I
Kyle.
I would say Sensei's got to be on this list only because he's probably making more money than a lot of these guys that we're mentioning. To bring Tensai back, he's probably making more money than a Michael McGillicuddy is or a
Right,
Drew
yeah.
McIntyre is. So if you're paying him this money and he's not getting
Producing.
any crowd reaction, he's not getting any TV ratings, you have to put him on Superstars now because of it. You can't keep justifying paying him that kind of money. So either say, hey, we need to really, really work on your contract again, or just say, sorry, it's not working. We tried. But
See, all these international stars are the ones on the list. McIntyre, Justin Gabriel, Ezekiel Jackson, Tatsu.
I would get rid of Johnny Curtis.
Derek Bateman.
No, whoa.
I like Bateman, actually.
NXT as a whole.
Tyson Kidd, I'd get rid of. Because they don't know how to use him. And that's not a knock on him. It's just that they have nothing to do with him, really.
Yes, they should let Tyson Kidd out into the world to flourish.
Yeah, let him go live his life.
He'll probably be this year's Chris Masters.
He'll do
the
a
guy
lot better
you don't want to
in
see
the
leave, but the guy who does end up leaving.
Yeah,
And
that's no knock on him, but he needs to go where he can actually succeed.
there's a lot of people to choose from.
Sin Cara could die tomorrow and we wouldn't even know. So he could get fired.
Sin Cara's not getting fired.
The
They
reason
put way
they
too much
haven't
press.
fired him yet.
They put way too much press into him to get rid of him yet.
But does it matter? Hunico is a better wrestler. Fire
Exactly.
Sin Cara and put him right back under the Sin Cara mask. Nobody will ever know.
Exactly.
Yeah, but like I just said, they haven't fired Sin Cara yet.
I know.
What makes you think they'd fire him 2
Well,
weeks from now?
Hey,
I know why they haven't fired him yet. Triple H is blowing him off.
Yeah.
That's
Unless he gets
the point.
another wellness policy violation or something, he ain't going anywhere.
Like I said, Eddie was just asking who he'd want to get fired. Sin Cara's not going anywhere.
The
But if
only
it was
reason
up to me, he'd be gone.
The only reason, like I said, the only reason why I would fire him is because you can put Hunico under the mask and nobody would.
Exactly.
And that's my whole thing. It doesn't matter if they're behind the fucking mask. You did it once before, go right ahead and do it again. Yeah, slap his mouth, but so fucking what?
Camacho needs
Camacho.
to be released.
Him and his
What
king.
about the bicycle?
No.
You don't want to release the bicycle. The bicycle will rain hell upon the WWE for being released.
And the reason that we have so many names on this list, look at all the people that they're introducing, reintroducing.
Exactly.
All these people, something's got to give. You're going to sink the ship. You got to drop weight, man.
It's bloated.
So,
I mean, they might be bringing up Moxley soon. They've already brought up, they've already brought back Ryback. They just reintroduced Damian Sandow. They've got Antonio Cesaro. A lot of these people are just dead weight now. They can be getting rid of easily.
Their roster size is pretty close to what WCW's was when they had a 3-hour show
Mhm.
on Monday.
It's getting
A
near
fucking-
TNA levels of bloated right now.
get rid of Zack Ryder.
Might as well.
Agreed.
I don't care if Super Chris is still listening. Just
Is he still here?
Probably.
Fact. Let him go.
what is Zack Ryder doing right now? Nothing.
Jobbing.
I mean, if you don't think that with as popular as he is on the internet and with his character and whatever positives he does bring to the table, if you don't think he could become a huge star elsewhere, you're crazy. Like, he could show up in TNA tomorrow and be a main eventer over there. Can't do it in WWE.
Many people could do that, though. TNA's a whole nother problem.
All right. So, now that we've gotten all that out of the way,
Oh, wow.
Over the Limit is this Sunday, 4 days away. It's a 5-match card, 6 if you count the pre-show. I sort of do, I sort of don't. Shit. Unless they give a lot of time to a lot of these matches, which ain't gonna happen, I don't think. Matches gotta be added. Again.
As usual. That's not a surprise.
Another Ryback match, another throw together Brodus Clay match. You gotta think that there's gonna be 1, 2, maybe even 3 matches added to this.
Quick question for you, Kyle. If I just say Ryback versus Jobbers in the prediction contest,
That'll work.
will that count?
Yeah, if it's local jobbers, that's fine. If it's Drew McIntyre, doesn't
He's a
count.
jobber, though.
If it's
I
a
said
local
jobbers.
jobber, if you can name the local jobbers, I might give you triple points for that, but that's
Maxwell
neither here
Stanton.
nor there.
Yeah.
Lance Bravado. They're from the Carolinas.
But yeah,
I think that both the Fatal 4-Way and the Danielson Punk match are both going to be around 40 minutes apiece.
You are bugging with that one.
Got a lot of faith in them.
Yeah.
Fatal
no
4-Way.
No, that's fine. But DB and Punk it in 40 minutes, though?
Like I
I
said,
would love to see it. I love to see
the
it.
natural progression of the matches they've already had, plus the fact CM Punk is doing interviews talking about he's pacing himself and getting himself ready for a long match,
I didn't know that.
and the fact that, as Kyle already pointed out, they're only 5 matches in on the main card itself. It looks like they're building towards a longer match. Like I said last time we had a show, I'd bet money that the match goes 40 minutes or more. For the prediction contest, I picked 40 minutes on the dot.
yes, he did.
You know what? I didn't know that he's been saying that in interviews. I believe that then.
I can see Punk Bryan. The Fatal 4-Way, it's not an elimination match.
See,
15 at the most.
If they do their best Dragon Gate impression, it'll be easy.
Orton couldn't wrestle Dragon. Never mind. I'll leave that alone. But good luck with that one. What about Layla and Beth getting like 10 minutes? No?
I mean,
Yeah.
if it did, it would be a pretty decent match,
It
but
would be a decent match.
The fact
The
that you
WWE
have 2 divisions that WWE doesn't care about in the tag team and the Divas division matches on the card, being 5-10 minutes tops. Shit, they gotta have something that lengthens the show out.
So
Oh,
I honestly
that
don't think
reminds
Cena
me.
alone has to be long.
Since I forgot to say it from earlier, yeah, that's another way to help fix your ratings, WWE. Actually care about all your divisions.
your
Like-
tag division, your mid-card division, your Divas division, all your
Yeah.
divisions that aren't
Hey,
just the
hey,
top.
hey, don't get carried away. They don't have to care about the Divas division.
They have to care about everything if they want ratings.
Well, they need to do one or the other. Either start caring or get rid of it completely. Don't have tag titles if you're not going to care about the tag division, or go the other direction, start really caring about the tag division. Same thing for the Divas. Don't put them on TV if you're not going to care about them. But if you're going to care about them, go in the other direction. Put focus on them.
And they put focus back on tag teams to a point. Darren Young and this
That's
dude
true.
who fucking barks, who's a bum, have gotten plenty of pub on SmackDown over the past few weeks. To the point, they've got more pub as an upcoming team than Epico and Primo did their entire run as tag champs.
Yeah, but the Usos saw a lot of pub when they first showed up. How long did that last?
Rakishi's kids. They hate Rikishi.
I'm just saying, these new teams debut, and it's like, oh, look at them. They're something we should focus on. And 3 weeks later,
They're back to doing nothing.
yeah, they're in dark matches, or they're on, superstars wrestling for 4 minutes. And then it's like, okay, well, why were we even cared in the first place? So, like I said, either focus on these divisions or completely get rid of them. Because as both divisions are right now, they're just wasting time. It's a waste of time to get a Divas match on TV for 2 minutes. We're not talking about TNA where the knockouts are the bigger draws for some strange reason. We're not discussing that.
Shit. U.S. title has no match. Intercontinental title has no match.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna add champion versus champion match onto the card for no reason.
I
Might
mean,
as well.
I mean,
technically,
they've had it for the past few weeks, so it could happen.
they're doing it on SmackDown this week too.
Spoiler alert, Kyle.
I didn't say who won.
Still a spoiler.
Jeez.
Asshole. God. We have to
I was
work.
gonna say it myself, but at least even when I'm high, I have some fucking.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a horrible
Spoil
human
it for
being.
everybody.
My bad.
Yes, you
No
are.
tact whatsoever. My God.
Dear Lord.
With this pay-per-view, though, it's just...
I think you'll see Ryback. Most likely.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you'll see Ryback. I'm pretty sure you'll see Cody Santino, one or both of them, and Brodus.
I would see Brodus.
I'm predicting Ryback versus Drew Mack.
He's gonna upgrade to named jobbers.
His last match on SmackDown, Drew Mack was in the back talking trash, so
That's
I'm pretty
true.
sure the next one going down is Drew Mack.
It would have been nice if it would be Ryback and Miz. Since Miz tried Brodus, he could try to move on to Ryback and just get killed again. But it's probably Drew Mack.
It's going to be the irresistible force and the immovable object. It's going to be Ryback versus Brodus this week. Clearly.
Oof.
Yeah. Not happening
Wait till
yet.
that happens. Huh?
Yeah.
Brodus will try to get Ryback to dance, and Ryback will malfunction and break down in the middle of the ring.
Dance.
Start doing the robot and just stop.
If that happens,
See,
They,
okay,
they go on to form a tag team. It's the greatest thing ever.
here. I don't know if this is going to be a prediction of mine, but honestly, I think we're more likely. Well, maybe not more likely, but don't rule out the idea of an Antonio Cesaro match at the pay-per-view.
all right.
Or maybe a Damian Sandow segment. Maybe.
Cesaro is still technically affiliated with John Laurinaitis. It's a 6 degrees of separation thing, but
Maybe.
he is somewhat. Laurinaitis has been a fan of his. Laurinaitis could put him on, and we could see Cesaro versus some random person, a Tyson Kidd or something.
Plus, he's still messing with Teddy, and we know how much Laurinaitis enjoys fucking with
Yeah.
Teddy, so...
That's why I think they should keep it to SmackDown for the time being. As long as it's still fucking with Teddy and having the little jokes, you should just keep it to fucking SmackDown.
There's a name for the chopping block. Teddy Long.
No, man.
Long is never getting fired. I don't think you quite understand.
In fact, I would have Abraham Washington hire Teddy Long for all-world managing, to where he would split him up, and one would be on Raw and one would be on SmackDown, and they would represent both of their clients equally on each show. After, of course, they're finished shitting on Teddy Long and acting like he's never done anything remotely well wrestling-wise. So, gotta build Teddy Long back up. Teddy Long's a great employee for the WWE, always has been.
Yeah, see that's why I don't think Teddy's going to get fired. It's that loyalty thing. Vince is incredibly loyal to the people that are loyal to him, and look at how long Teddy's been with the company doing anything that's been asked of him. We need you to referee, okay? We need you to manage, okay? We need you to be the general manager, okay? Hell, we need you to wrestle a couple times, okay?
Hey, we need you to get driven around by The Undertaker. Alright?
You got it.
was so weird.
He gets humiliated, he gets embarrassed, he gets put over.
He does his
just
job.
He does what he's asked to do, and he gets a reaction. That's really all you can ask for. Teddy will be there for as long as he wants to be there, I think.
I've always loved Teddy Long. Teddy Long's over the top and it's hysterical. And he fits their product. He always has.
All right. Anything else we need to bring up?
I don't think so, unless anyone's
that's
got
it.
anything specific.
All right, then.
Well, fuck ROH. Just want to bring that back up one more time.
Solid. Oh man, Jeff, that was a good one.
All right. Well, thanks to everyone at Livestream who came and watched us live. Thanks to everyone on YouTube who took the time to watch us. I guess that's it.
And don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, donate to the PayPal, buy the t-shirt, and as always, take care, braid your hair.
Fuck that.
Yeah, he's fired now, so I don't know. Anyways.
Good night,
His
everyone.
only supporter. See ya.
Bye.
That was a really sudden goodbye. We're done. Okay, bye.